All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be trying to transplant some milkweed out of this field. Now this weed is called butterfly weed. It attracts monarch butterflies, so it's pretty popular for the butterfly enthusiasts, but I just thought it was a pretty looking little plant, so I thought I would just come back and try to scoop this thing up. And it is pretty hard to transplant this stuff. This plant will probably die back. It's gorgeous right now. It's flowering. So I think I'm going to dig the whole plant up whole with the tuber. There's a root. It's almost like a rhizome, the thing needs the main tap. It's got a taproot that it grows off of, and it needs that taproot. So I'm going to try to dig down a radius around this thing and get as much of that taproot as I can. And then I'll take the whole plant home. I got a 5-gallon bucket with some water in it. I'll drop it in there. Then I'll take the whole plant home, and I'll probably take some cuttings off of it and cut it up and make cuttings out of a couple branches if I can do that. And then I will plant the plant, and it will die back and then start growing back from that root again. It may even be here later this year. So follow the channel, like, subscribe, and come back and check in a month or so, and I'll do some updates on the milkweed. Put it in the comments if you want to see a video. I might do a shard on it or whatever, so just keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure I'll show it in the future and next year when it blooms again. So like I said, it'll die back. I'm going to do cuttings, and I'm going to take the main plant and try to do both. So I should get cuttings, and I should get the main root that it regrows from that root. It's flowering already. It's June right now. So I think I'm going to take it home and cut those flowers off and cut the leaves off and just trim the stems back and see if I can't get this thing to shoot some roots out there and then rejuvenate a little bit there. And then I can plant them around my yard. We'll get this plant home, try to get some cuttings. I'll plant it somewhere where it can live, and that's going to be that. I would like to have it in my front yard in my flower bed. Now, so I think that's about everything I wanted to... Oh, I came in here, I had a load of wood in my truck, and I sprayed this milkweed plant with the wilt proof. I brought some spray with me. It's right here in a spray bottle. So when I came in about 45 minutes ago, I sprayed the plant down with wilt proof. So that way maybe it'll have some protection, because as soon as this thing comes out of the ground, it's hot right now. It's going to start wilting and wanting to just shrivel up and die. But I went ahead and I sprayed it just to give it that extra protection. And that way, if I do the cuttings might have a little bit of extra protection. However, this wilt proof is not recommended for plants with fuzzy leaves, because it can't get through the fuzz down there and coat the leaf surface. And the bottom of these milkweed leaves are very fuzzy. They have a lot of fuzz on them. So the wilt proof might not work anyways. I just brought it along as a little extra precaution there. Thought it might help with the cloning. And I didn't realize how fuzzy the bottom of the milkweed leaves are. So they're really fuzzy, and it's not recommended to use wilt proof on the fuzziness. But we did it anyways. So let me get out here now. I'm just going to air this footage of me digging this thing up. It's really hot. I'm ready to get out of the sun today. That's why I'm doing my little monologue in the car and the air conditioning. I've been out here moving wood and making wood. Did some white oak firewood and some spruce or something else. I don't know. Don't know what it was. But so hang in there now. Let me get going. You'll be here in 2 seconds, and I'm going to be digging this thing up. We're just going to dig it up and take it home. We'll do the updates in the future. That's the video for today, so stay tuned for the future updates on the milkweed. All right, now I've been digging on this plant a little while, doing a little excavation around the root system here, and that's basically what you need to do when you dig up these milkweeds when they're growing like this. These tap roots can be spread out in any direction, and you don't really know where they're headed. And this ground, especially if you look where I'm digging, it's much more difficult to dig than you would think it is. It's easier said than done is what I'm getting at there. It's in wood chips and coming up through a big clump of grass, and there's twigs and gravel and everything mixed in there. It may be a good idea to use a hose or a power washer or something to excavate that soil and soak it down and blast that soil away too. Would be a real good way of doing that if you have access to that. Now, I don't have that out here. So I tried to start out away from where the stem was going into the soil, about 12 inches or so. I should have went further. I thought I went pretty far, but it wasn't far enough. If you look real close there where I took my shovel out of the ground, you'll have to rewind it, but the very first place I stuck my shovel in the ground, I think I severed that taproot a little bit. It just happened to be right there. It was running real funny. That taproot was laying perfectly horizontal, flat underneath the soil, and then it ran trying to come up and find a place sideways, and then this stem twisted again and came up vertical. You can see how twisted that stem, how many turns it has. So it was all over the place under there, and I did cut the tip of that taproot off now, and I was a little concerned about that. Wasn't sure if it's going to come back. Got a little damage on the tip of it, but I saved most of it, and the top of it is still intact, where all the nodes come out of it there. It puts out those new shoots out of the top there where you see that stem, so that's an important place to keep intact too. But we're going to see if that's enough of that taproot, if this thing can still live. Now, it is basically a weed. I think they're pretty hardy. They like dry, sandy, well-draining soil, hot sun. So here we are now at home, and I trimmed that thing up, took several cuttings off of it, cut all the flowers off, cut it back, put it in my mulch there where it's in a pretty dry spot. It gets at least 6 to 7 hours of sun a day. But here's the cuttings I took. I think I got, let's see what I got. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I got about 6 cuttings, and here they all are. I just kind of stuck them down in there in that pot there. That's in a shady little spot. That's where I put all my green giant clones and everything back there in the shade, just ambient light. But after several days went by, these cuttings were not doing good. I mean, you can see what happened here, and I have no explanation for why some of them did worse than others, other than the fact that maybe that big wide open stem was wide open on the top, and it just dried out and couldn't heal itself, and it just dried right out real fast. So all of those stem cuttings pretty much passed away real fast. Now these smaller ones that were on the top of the plant, they appear to be doing pretty well. Now it's June 20th when I took these cuttings, and here we are on July 25th. And look what we have here. We got a milkweed sprouting up out of my flower bed there. It went ahead and died back and started shooting up a new shoot already. So here we are now a few days later, 5 days. I think this is July 28th. And we clearly have a milkweed growing. So it is trying to sprout back this year. I'm just going to let it go, and it'll die back with the weather, I guess, here when it gets cold. Now, I'm not sure that it will get a chance to really flower again, but I'm just going to let it do its thing, and it should naturally die back late this fall when it starts freezing, and probably come back next year, I would imagine. Now, here we are on the same day. The clones have all died except for this one. Has a little bit of growth coming out of that node right there. There is no root showing out of the bottom yet, but we had one survivor, it looks like. I'm having a hard time getting that soil to dry out though. It's sitting in the shade, and the plant can't handle the full sun right now, and it just keeps raining every day, so it's been wet, which milkweeds don't like. So I'm going to try to dry that out and get it going here. Now there is more milkweed out here for the taking, but I'm not going to jump into that if there's any monarch eggs on it because they need to develop. But I'd like to have some more plants at home, because if you just have one plant and you get a caterpillar or two, it can absolutely decimate one little milkweed plant and it'll run out of food. So it's good to have a lot of it if you have some. Now it looks like something mowed this plant down earlier in the year, and it came back really well. May have gotten eaten by a deer or something, because we have not been mowing in there, and I don't think a truck would have snapped it off like that, but pretty interesting.